Testament, please. Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item D, approval of minutes. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes shall stand approved. Okay, I hear nothing. We will go ahead and approve those. Agenda item E, citizen communication. If there's anybody in the audience, or if there's anybody on the phone that would like to address council, please do so now. Andy, is there anyone?
No.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item F, reports from council committees. The Finance and Budget Committee met on January 13th, 2025. And Tom, do you want to?
Yes, and we recommended to approve the 2024 fourth quarter budget adjustments, which we'll be doing later in the agenda.
F2, the Electric Committee did not meet on January 13th, 2025 due to a lack of agenda items. F3, the Water, Sewer, Refuse, and Litter Committee did not meet on January 13th, 2025 due to the lack of agenda items. F4, the Municipal Properties, Building, Land Use, and ED did not meet on January 13th, 2025 due to a lack of agenda items. And F5, the Parks and Recreation Committee did not meet earlier tonight due to the lack of agenda items. Moving on to agenda item H, introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. H1, ordinance number 001-25, an ordinance supplementing the annual appropriation measure supplement number 4 for the year of 2024 and declaring an emergency. Suspension requested. Kevin, do you want to go on?
Motion?
Oh, sorry, thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Kayla, can you call roll?
Oh, not yet.
Yes.
Now
Did you
Kevin
get a motion?
talks.
You had a motion, a second.
Oh, sorry, yes.
I can discuss this now.
Yes, please.
Okay. So what these next three items are, 1, 2, and 3, are the fourth quarter budget adjustments, which allows us to adjust the budget so we can close our books out for the year. This one in particular here are any increases to any line items that we needed to do. It's quite a bit of them, but because this is the fourth quarter, if anybody's over by 1 penny on any of these line items, we have to make sure that we do that increase to make sure that we balance out the books for the year. These first couple pages that Andy is scrolling through, these have all been approved by the Finance and Budget Committee meeting. These are all increases, and there's really nothing out of the ordinary that wasn't discussed in the Finance and Budget Committee meeting. If you keep scrolling, Andy, I do want to point out on this page here, and there's about 4 or 5 of them there. What we do is anything that we are over budgeted by, we lower it down to our expenses. So this is what we do at the year end. So what we end up having at the end of the day is this is what we budgeted to spend, and this is exactly what we spent. And so it cleans it up when we do our CAFR with that. I asked for suspension on this just because this allows us to close out 2024 if we can have this done under suspension and avoid the 3 reads. If anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain them.
Hearing none.
Motion for suspension?
Second.
Okay, Kayla, can you call roll on the motion, please?
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And can we have a motion for the suspension?
The first one was suspension, second one's for the ordinance.
second one for the ordinance, please. Please call roll.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you. H2, ordinance number 002-25, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make appropriation transfers, transfer of appropriation from one appropriation line item to another appropriation line item pursuant to ORC section 5705-40 for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, as listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency with suspension requested. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Can we get down together?
The difference between this one and the first one is the first one raised or lowered the line item, so it actually changed the budgeted total amount. This one here changes it by one line item to another, so it's a zero-sum game. And we prefer this method, and this was reviewed by the Finance and Budget Committee meeting. A lot of these in here is when we get at the end of every year, we get our insurance bill and also a Bureau of Workers' Compensation bill that we need to pay. And if we don't budget enough, we try to borrow from another line item. So if there's travel training left over, we would take that out and apply it to the insurance line item or Bureau of Workers' Compensation. And these are all just examples. So again, we'd like to ask for suspension on this, just so this allows us to close out our books. And if anyone has any questions about any of these appropriation transfers, let me know.
Thank you. Council have any questions? You have none?
Motion for suspension.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, can you call roll on suspension, please?
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you.
Could I make a quick comment? I know Kevin just mentioned it, how the first legislation raised or lowered accordingly as far as what we actually spent last year. If you look at this that Kevin provided for tonight, at the very bottom, we had budgeted $64,363,000 for 2024. What we actually spent was $56,673,000. So we did come in under budget as far as spending last year.
Great.
I just wanted to point that out.
And if you want, I
Was that
forgot, I
correct?
was gonna say something to the line to that. If you would scroll up, you could see our major fund is the general fund. And the general fund line item, we spent quite a bit less than what we did in our budgeted part. It's right there, I believe, halfway down the page.
Right there.
So the column to your right is the amount, if you can read that off.
Yeah, $1,062,431.
That's how much we will lower the general fund budget that we didn't spend in 2024 to balance that out. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm hearing no more comments, suggestions. We'll go ahead and have a motion for ordinance.
you already had the motion. You just need to
Okay,
have
let's
the.
call roll.
the roll. Yeah.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you. H3, resolution number 003-25, a resolution authorizing the finance director to transfer certain fund balances, transfer number 5, from respected funds to other funds pursuant to ORC section 5705, 14, on as an as-needed basis in fiscal year 2024, as listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency with suspension requested. Can I get a motion, please?
Motion.
It doesn't matter, go ahead. Ken motion.
Who wants the second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the last one of the three, and every year when we do our budgets, we do fund-to-fund transfers. There's a resolution that's passed that allows us to transfer certain money from one fund to another without having to come to council. Every now and then, we run into a couple items that are not listed on there that we need to transfer from one fund to the other, and this is a cash movement from a certain fund to another certain fund. There's not a lot on here, but this just allows us, when we had to take, like, I think some of these, most of these are unclaimed funds. We clean up our unclaimed funds for our CAFR every year. So if we have any monies out there where the checks weren't cashed, for example, but yet it's still accounted for, we move that over to unclaimed funds. So if anyone still wants to collect it, it's out of there. So, again, we ask for suspension. With this, then this allows us to close our books.
Thank you.
Motion for suspension?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, can you please call roll?
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Just call the roll on the
Michaela, can you call
resolution.
roll for the resolution?
Dr. Dave?
Switched it
Brittany?
on the two resolutions.
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
On behalf of the Finance Department, we appreciate you guys doing this tonight, and we will be able to close out our books by the end of this week for 2024. Thank you.
Agenda item I, there's no second reading of ordinances or resolutions. Agenda item J, there is no third reading of ordinances or resolutions. Agenda item K, good of the city. K1, discussion or action, the approval of the power supply cost adjustment factor for January 2025 as PSCA 3-month average factor, 0.01585, and JB2, 0.045004. Andy, you want to take that?
Sure. Well, this is up slightly from last month. I attribute this to Prairie State, our coal-fired plant in southern Illinois had been down for a period of extended maintenance. So during that time, we had to buy off the net market. I know Brittany sat through the power supply portfolio review a couple of weeks ago, and we typically buy about 6.3% of our power off the net market. That's the daily market. Where you're going out and buying every day, you're buying power for us. We asked the question, is that enough? Is that too much? He said, no, you got a sweet spot there. You're in good shape. He said, if you were 20%, he said maybe it'd be a little bit of a concern, but we're good at 6.3%. But occasionally, one of our other resources goes down, we have to buy more off the net market on certain days. Unfortunately, Prairie State's one of the cheaper power supplies we have, so when it goes down, we're likely going to pay a little bit more for power during that time. So I attribute some of this increase to just that, and the other just a seasonal variation. But otherwise, there's nothing significant.
I have a question. Is there any indication that the Illinois governor is not going to let them reopen the plant? Or are they guaranteed a period of time of operation?
Yeah, as of today, they're guaranteed to at least operate as they are through, I believe, 2043. And after that time, then they have to put on some additional environmental equipment that really wouldn't be worth it, the cost of doing the change or modification. And not only that, it's a mouth-of-the-mine plant. What that means is this coal-fired plant sits right on the coal mine. So they bring that coal up out of that plant, or out of the mine, and it goes right in the plant. So it's a very, very cost-effective way to do business. That coal supply is only like 30-year supply, and it will be exhausted sometime in the mid-2040s. So after that time, the coal would be more expensive anyway. But yeah, it'll operate as it has now for some time yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
We
for
need
that, or-
approval. A motion for approval.
Okay, can I get a motion for approval, please?
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Michaela, can you please call roll?
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item K2, discussion or action to accept the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation grant for $14,857.88. Chief or Andy, if he wants to take this one.
Well, you called him first, so I will let the chief handle this one.
Yes, this is a grant, it's a recurring grant that happens every quarter by Firehouse Subs. We've put in for it repetitively and been turned down. It's for equipment that normally isn't budgeted for. And we were able to obtain it this year, or this quarter, and we're put in for 12 Seek Fire Pro thermal imaging cameras. What they are is they're point of reference thermal imaging cameras. They go on our air packs. They're about smaller than a cell phone. We call them point of reference because they're not as sophisticated as like the ticks we carry on the fire truck, but it gives us a point of reference that if our guys get lost, they'll be able to get a window or something like that. It's another tool that we can use. We got 12 of them through them. Now, the caveat to this is it was not budgeted for because we have not received it in the past. They have one of two options. They can either purchase the equipment and donate the equipment to us, or they do an ACH transfer to the city. We're gonna gear towards having them purchase it. That way there's no funds that have to transfer anywhere, and just have them donate the equipment to us. That phone call's supposed to come in the 21st of February, I believe. And this is something that HR and the Assistant Fire Chief have worked very diligently on since we took over on trying to obtain this, and we finally got it. So it's kind of unheard of because we don't have a Firehouse Subs anywhere nearby. The closest one's 30 miles, but we were lucky enough to get it this time.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Can I get a motion to accept the grant, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, can you please call roll?
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you. K3, discussion and action, direct the law director to draft the appropriate legislation as required by ODOT for the Scott Street resurfacing project. Can you take that, Andy?
Sure, I'll take that. This is legislation that ODOT requires whenever they're doing work within the city limits, and they will be doing this work this summer. It also states that we will pay our percentage of the cost for this project. Initially, when Chad came to you in November with the budgeted numbers, we budgeted $545,000 for this. We recently found out that there was federal aid funds that became available, and now our cost has been dropped to $76,086. So a significant savings because of those federal funds. So, but this is just legislation that's required, once again, when they work in the city limits, and basically stating that we'll pay our share.
Thank you.
And one more thing, we will have to have a suspension of rules on this too, because of the tight timeline that ODOT has provided us. So,
Okay. Thanks for your work on that. Can I get a motion for suspension?
I don't
In this
think
situation, you're gonna direct me to draft the law,
Yeah.
So you can just-
the legislation, and then we'll have suspension on the first read in 2 weeks or 3
Yeah.
weeks or whenever that is.
Okay, so we don't need a motion for you to do.
Just need a motion to direct me to draft that legislation.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call roll.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item K4, discussion and action, requesting approval to seek bids for the East Washington Street Improvement Project.
Yes, this is somewhat of a formality. CDBG funds from which some of this will be paid is actually controlled by the county. But we still must approve moving forward with this. So I'm just asking for your approval to move forward with seeking bids for this project.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, please, for the approval?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call roll.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item L, executive session, compensation of personnel. We are going to table this item for this evening, being that one of the council members is out ill. If any of the council members insist to have the executive session, please motion now.
So strictly speaking, it wouldn't be tabled, we're just gonna skip over it essentially.
We're
But
gonna
if
skip
somebody-
over it.
If somebody wants to, insists on having that tonight without Ross here, then we could have that motion and so on, but I don't think anybody's gonna do that, and we can just go to the next thing.
Okay.
Under, go to city,
Okay.
see if anybody, yeah, start with either side.
Okay. We'll go around the table, see if anybody has anything to discuss. Andy, we'll start with you.
I have nothing, thank you.
Thank you.
Go Irish.
Briefly, I wanted to give an update, year-end numbers for issues handled by the law department. I gave one, I think it was October. Just the year-end numbers are as follows. Criminal cases handled that year, 403. Traffic cases handled in 2024, 2,034, 102 of those being OVI cases. Appeals handled 2. Contracts reviewed, drafted last year, 31. Formal and informal legal opinions issued, 75. Criminal fine, traffic fine settlement money collected was $39,889.25. And legislation pieces drafted, 58 ordinances or resolutions, 6 of those were unused. And pending civil cases last year were 2. And I would ask for a very brief executive session to give you an update on pending or imminent litigation.
Thank you. Any further over?
Could we have a comparison to what you had from the previous year? Just to up, down? And
I don't have that with me, but yeah, I could certainly get that
That would just be.
out to everybody, sure. It's about the same, usually.
Okay.
Yeah, it holds pretty solid, so.
I was just curious if it seems like.
But I can-
Your work is ticking up or. ticking
Yeah, I
down
can check
or
on,
steady?
I can check on that. It might take a little bit of time
No
because,
rush.
so just to get that together, I might just put it in an email.
Sure.
Thank you. Jordan?
Nope, nothing for me.
Nothing.
Looks pretty dull around town without all the lights.
Put it back on. Put it back on.
July.
Yeah.
That it?
That's it.
Okay. Just a thank you to the city employees who are working outside during this cold spell. We all get to enjoy working inside, so obviously police, fire, and some other workers are out there with any of these water main breaks and things like that.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And I would like to just state one more time, for those of you that haven't seen it or heard it, we will not be collecting refuse today or tomorrow. We're still evaluating on whether we do it Wednesday. If we do, we'll try and get something on the radio and on our Facebook page. But as of today or tomorrow, we will not be collecting it. Next week, we will be very gracious. We will certainly collect 4 bags, up to 4 bags for people rather than up to 2. So we will do what we can to help catch up, but it's just, I made the decision, already I made the decision on Friday, but it's just too dangerous. We can't put our troops out there like this, so. And we are not the only one. There are other private refuse services in the area that have also called off, so. Just not something you'd want to be out in, riding on the back of a truck with exposed skin. So,
I think that's great, and thank you for doing that. If we are going to not do the pickup on Wednesday, we can make that decision as early as possible, because a lot of us put
We'll
our
talk in the
trash
morning.
out today, and I see it all
Yeah.
over, and I don't know how long it's gonna sit there. Some people may leave it out there all week. but-
Yeah, we'll certainly discuss it in the morning.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Dr. Dave?
Just the finance and budget meeting scheduled for the 27th will be canceled. There are no new agenda items.
Thank you. Kevin?
Just, again, thank you to council for approving tonight's legislation under suspension. We're in a unique time, like we are every January, where we have 2 sets of books open, and this helps us to move forward and close one set. So appreciate everyone helping us out.
Thank you. If I can get a motion for executive session, please?
So moved.
For pending or imminent litigation.
For pending or imminent litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Michaela, can you please go roll?
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
I will say that.
May I please get a motion to come out of executive session, please?
So move.
Second?
Thank you. Michaela, can you please call roll?
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
There was no action taken for the executive session. Move on to agenda item M, approve of payments of bills and financial reports. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the payment of bills shall stand approved. I'm hearing none. They shall be approved. Agenda item N, adjournment. Can I please have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Thank you. Michaela, can you please call roll?
Dr. Dave, Brittany,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.